Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How do we sound today, guys? Let us know in the chat if we sound like scary aliens like we did last week. Ooh, we got an ad. What's our ad for this?
Hemoglobin monitoring.
Hemoglobin monitoring. What did you guys
For
get an
Phillips
ad for?
Messino.
Ooh.
It's advanced.
Awesome. Guys, we are monetized. For those who were not aware, that means that we get a couple pennies every time you guys watch an ad. So when you watch our ads, it actually helps us to grow our channel in very small increments. How's everybody doing today? For those who are joining us for the very first time, we hang out for the first 10 minutes. We announce some news, some good stuff, and then right at noon on the dot, we will begin our super awesome Q&A with Anthony Wolf. I want to get through a few news updates real quick before we bring Anthony on. He's kind of sitting on the sidelines for a minute. First of all, time is boiling down for Bitchcraft Fair, Columbus, Ohio. We are going to be speaking at Bitchcraft Fair, which a lot of people, we weren't able to boost any of the posts for the event using that name. So the event organizer actually changed the name of the event to Crafty Witch Fair. So it's the same event. If you guys see any ads for it, it is the same event. I will be there. Bless you. Admission for that event is $15. There are going to be over 80 different Halloween spooky themed vendors. There's going to be trick-or-treating for the children, and included with your ticket price, you can come hang out with Mark and I, where we are going to be presenting 2 live presentations. At the end of each of those live presentations, I'm going to be giving away 2 Handmade Alpha Academy scholarships worth around $200 each, $1,997, and you get to take these cool little statues home.
You said 200.
You
said $200 each.
2,000. Sorry, $1,997, and you get to take one of these home. It's been a rough day. He actually stayed up all night, took like a 2-hour nap, and is here. Power nap, and is here to hang out with us. But anyway, links for that is down below. If you click see more, you can expand out the description, and that's where you can buy your tickets. There's going to be a ton of vendors. Kids are free to come. It's not, I don't know if they're free, like admission free, as in they are welcome. Children are welcome. They can dress up in costumes. You can dress up in costumes. You can trick or treat. Bring a trick or treat bag.
Amber Marie said, how was your anniversary weekend? Ooh, it was pretty good.
We had so much fun. We went to the super pretty hotel in Columbus, which is where Bitchcraft is, conveniently. We had a lot of fun, though. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and let Anthony come on here. It looks like you're chewing, Anthony, so I'm going to give you a minute. There he is. All right, so Anthony is going to be unveiling something in just a few, well, not unveiling, but explaining something that he unveiled. But before we get to that, let me kind of tell you how this came about. It was Monday, and Anthony messaged me and said, I think I'm ready to finally unveil this thing that I've known about. But he said, I think I'm ready to finally unveil this thing, this amazing, awesome thing that everybody's going to love. And of course, the first thing I say is, oh, can I make a video about it and get it up? That way everyone knows how to use it. And that's how most of you found out about it, because at what, I think 7 o'clock, was it 7 o'clock or 7:30?
7:30, we made the decision.
7:30, yeah. At 7:30, he said, okay, it's live. And I immediately launched the video. I made the video within an hour and rushed it out as fast as possible. And it already has over 3,000 views, which was super duper exciting. So for those who missed that video, I sent it in an email today, but it's also the very last video that I uploaded before this one. So you can go back and watch that later. And today we're going to answer any questions that you might have about this new tool. We're going to kind of walk through it, what it is, how you can use it, how you can benefit from it before the holidays. We've got about 4 minutes, though, before we get started. So let's say hi to some people. Oh, Lori, who is a Handmade Alpha Academy student from Lori's laboratory, says, hi, Anthony. Hey. All right, guys. Oh, and that was the other piece of news. Handmade Alpha Academy is opening in December. We are thinking around December 1st, so keep that date in mind if you plan on enrolling. And be sure to join the Handmade Alpha VIPs down below. That is my email list, and I'm going to be sending the biggest discount ever for Handmade Alpha Academy, but only to people who are on that list. Otherwise, you're going to pay about double the price of VIP members. So if you're not on that list, you're probably going to be really sad come enrollment time. But anyway, Miss Pretty Palette says, hi, Mark and Starla. Happy anniversary. Thank you. Lots of happy anniversaries. Debbie's here, Anthony. I haven't seen Debbie in a few. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I haven't been paying attention, but I've been wondering where Debbie's been, but it might just be my news feed hiding her, unless she's
been super busy on some stuff.
Yeah, I figure that you keep her busy. Let's see. Newbie Alpha here. So glad I made it this morning. Good morning, Starla and Mark. Good morning. Lots of newbies. If it's your first time here, let us know in the comments. We'll be happy to give you a shout out. Let's see. Shay, hello all. Miss Pretty Palette. Magically Eclectic, hope your anniversary was a grand one. This is our 8th wedding anniversary.
Yep.
We still celebrate the day that we got together, though. So if in February you hear us talking about our anniversary again, that's the day that we got together. And then we got married like 6 months later. So let's see. Debbie said, Anthony keeps me busy. I like the shirt you two are wearing. I'm wearing I had a lady at IHOP this morning say, wow, a dinosaur unicorn. I'm like, oh, it's just a unicorn skull. Okay. And what did you say? What did you say after that? Like, when we, not where she could hear us, but.
Oh, I said it's IHOP, not Harvard.
Yeah, he said, calm down. It's IHOP, not Harvard. Because I was like, a dinosaur unicorn? What? All right, guys, we've got about 1 minute. Anastasia, hi. Oh, hello from Russia. Cool. HTUer Lori here, first time. Heard wolves howling yesterday from the animal sanctuary next door to my farm and thought of you. What animal sanctuary do you live by?
Sounds like a wolf one.
No kidding. We actually donate to the Wolf Conservation Center of South Salem, New York, and I haven't heard back from him yet, but we may actually be collecting donations for the Wolf Conservation Center of the cat's trying to get out of the laundry room of South Salem, New York during Bitchcraft Fest. Who's going to Bitchcraft? Somebody, if you're going, let me know down in the comments. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and introduce our guest star for those who aren't. Where Anthony is the creator of everybody's favorite or alpha favorite SEO tool, Etsy tool. He's got so many tools. I don't even want to call it just an SEO tool. There are so many tools, but it was formerly EtsyRank. Now it is eRank. Anthony, would you like to very quickly talk about why there was a name change? Because I know that we have a whole lot of alphas who have asked me what's the difference between EtsyRank and eRank.
Yeah. Well, very briefly, nothing's changed at all other than we dropped a few letters off the name. We had a wonderful email from Etsy about a month ago where they gave us a bit of a heads up that they're going to create this integration section, and they thought it was a bit weird and possibly confusing if Etsy was promoting EtsyRank. So I thought, okay, well, it's time to rebrand. It's something we'd been planning since about March anyway, so we had domain names and logos and all that sort of stuff ready, so it made it nice and easy for us. So we did it. It's same thing. What's the saying? A rose by any other name smells just as sweet.
Yeah, and guys, if you haven't seen it yet, Etsy does everybody have the integrations tab now, or is that a beta?
I think everyone has it now.
Everyone has it? Okay, cool. So if you look on the left-hand corner of your Etsy dashboard where your actual left navigation is, there's a new one that says integrations, and there are a bunch of different recommended sites and just resourceful tools that Etsy now recommends, and eRank is now on that list, directly recommended by Etsy, which is huge, super duper huge. Congrats for that.
Thank you.
I bet. Did you freak out when you got that email?
Oh, I was.
I would have been too, because now it's like everybody knows.
Yeah. Etsy were great because they said, we don't know how much traffic you'll get from this, but be prepared. So,
that's hilarious. Were you prepared?
In the end, yeah. There were a few little hiccups. A couple of things just didn't quite go right, but luckily I was there watching it as it went live, and I could see where things were getting a bit hot, and I went, okay, made a few quick changes, and and whatever. But it was great that they gave heads up. They gave us, you know, a couple of weeks notice so that we could plan stuff. And I actually snuck in a few upgrades while Etsy were down as well. So it was good. I mean, they're actually turning out to be a really great company to partner with, because they're starting to communicate really well with eRank and other app developers out there. So I think that really helps from a
and that's so awesome, because it just gives further validation to everybody, you know, to see that Etsy is actually saying, wow, you know, this is a great tool. Our users should be using this tool. That is amazing. So
it's really
oh, and somebody asked a really good question. My Kind of Wonderful 84 asks, the eRank site still says EtsyRank all over. Will that change?
Yep. So that's one of the things that I'm keeping Debbie busy with at the moment. Actually getting the new site ready. The announcement was kind of awkward timing. Like I said, we already had the wheels in motion, but suddenly we had to speed things up a little bit and slow other things down. So apologies for the bit of a bipolar brand situation there. There are so many places where it needs to be changed, and I was going, do I change it on the existing site when the new site's nearly ready? So bear with me. I apologize there, but
he's introducing the new stepdad, guys. He's gotta have time to get all of the children adapted to the new name.
I guess.
I guess. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and talk about this new tool. For those who didn't see my video that I published on Monday night, let's go ahead and just kind of talk about what it is very quickly, and then we'll be able to get into some of the questions. So, Anthony, what is the new Keyword Explorer, and what should alphas be using this brand new tool for? Mm-hmm. And just quick disclaimer, guys, this is a pro feature. You do have to be on the, it's $9.99 still?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. That is the most affordable Etsy tool I've ever seen. So I don't even know how you do it. But that's awesome for everybody who is interested in joining. But let's talk about what this tool is.
Yep. Okay, so I think one of the big questions that people have had for years, especially on Etsy and anyone that's tried to optimize for any search engine, is what are people looking for? And for the last couple of years, we've been doing a good job of looking at other signals that can give us an idea of what's going on Etsy. For those that don't know, Etsy don't tell anyone what is being searched for. So I had to spend the better part of about 6 months trying to find a good, reliable, trustworthy data provider that had a good enough sample size of the US population so that we could actually get good, accurate estimates of what are the most popular search terms on Etsy and good long tail keywords and things like that. So it was a very interesting journey, but to cut it down, to boil it down, the tool allows you to find what people have been searching for on Etsy. It gives you great trend information. We have 15 months of historical search volumes for Etsy. We've got about 12 months of historical search volumes for Google. It's all in there now. It's the only tool that I'm aware of where you can actually see both Etsy and Google on the same page. So with that, not only can you understand what people are searching for on both Etsy and Google, you can now start to optimize your listings for Etsy and Google at the same time. And if you have your own website, guess what? Because it's Google data in there now as well, you can optimize your website as well. So it's kind of like a win-win. You've got a broader perspective now, and you can really balance it. To me, as I was testing this, and you would have seen this as well, it was fascinating looking at how similar search behavior is on Google and on Etsy. But every now and then you'll spot an interesting difference, and you'll go, wow, people search on Google right up to the last minute, but maybe not so much on Etsy. And, it gave me some really interesting learnings there about, planning your shop. When do you start planning? When do you start taking photographs? When do you start marketing and all those things? So I can show you that in a few minutes when we start demonstrating the product. But, that's what it is. It's about keywords, what people are looking for, what's popular, what's going up, what's going down, and when's the best time to start planning all this stuff.
Awesome. And I really want, sorry if you guys hear some thumping. My washing machine is uneven. Maybe you want to?
The mic's not picking it up.
Okay. All right. Well, if you hear any weird slamming, it's our washer. So I want to highlight something very quickly. A lot of people, you know, say that they've heard multiple sources, you know, where they've said that they've seen instances where people have said that they get, you know, certain information direct from Etsy, and that's, I just want to highlight that that's just not true, because it would be illegal for Etsy to do that in the first place.
Probably.
And then it would be illegal for Etsy to discriminate against some third parties, you know, as opposed to others. So, you know, if somebody says that they've got this data, it's always going to be third party. But I think what matters most here is that Anthony took so much time to find very accurate third party data. And you said that, you know, several Fortune 500 companies use this source, right?
Yeah, they do. And, you know, it's a company. I wanted to pick someone that I knew wasn't a fly-by-night sort of company, one that popped up last year, got some data from questionable sources, and then disappears. You know, it's one that's been around for over a decade. It's been used by multiple Fortune 500 companies. There are a whole bunch of, you know, really well-recognized brands. Some of the biggest, most successful companies in the world use it. So I felt very comfortable being in that company, and that's important, because you don't want to have all the risks that go with those other sort of companies. So trust and reliability was really key here. And you know, they've been around long. They've got the resources to invest, and they've got a massive panel of users that they survey to get this information. And that's important when you look at it from a statistic perspective. You know, if you've got a small sample of 1,000 people, how can you take their usage and apply it to the whole US population, right? It's not statistically significant. So this all comes with good, reliable, trustworthy sources. So, you know, I'm excited about it. You know, I look at it and I go, yep, I see the data. That makes sense. I see occasionally anomalies. You know, I'm not going to apologize that there are. You know, you're going to have to take it warts and all. I want to be very transparent about that, you know. But you can see things in there, like when Etsy are promoting something, you can go, huh, this is out of band. This is not in season. So, you know, Etsy have been promoting something vintage, for argument's sake. And you go, huh, good. Thank you, Etsy, for doing that. Hopefully you can do it again another time. And then other times you can see some really predictable seasonal stuff, like Halloween and fall themed items. Like right now, they're really hot, obviously. So, yeah.
Right. And we've got a lot of good questions that are starting to kind of pop up.
Yep.
But before we jump into those, let's take just like 2 minutes to describe, for those who have no idea what this is, they're hearing about it for the first time. Let's talk about exactly, like, just we'll do basic. What is it? Like, your elevator explanation. What is the Keyword Explorer?
I think of it as the best keyword research tool you can use for your Etsy shop today. You know, that's what it is. If you are dying to know what people are searching for on Etsy, this is, you know, the best source you can get your hands on to get in there and start to understand what buyers are looking for, what real buyers are looking for on Etsy. That's it.
Right. And as a user, because I've been using it, and everybody in the comments, they are blowing up saying that Keyword Explorer rocks. I use it every day now. eRank Pro is very much worth it, even before the Keyword Explorer came out. That is awesome. But what this tool is going to do is it's going to allow you to actually see real search volume. So you can say, well, how many people were actually searching on Etsy for wicker Easter basket, you know, and you can actually see exactly how many people are at a, you know, a good estimation of how many people are searching during certain times of year.
Yeah, I just want to be very clear on that point there. It's an estimate. I don't want people to think this is exactly it. You know, even Etsy won't know what the exact search terms are. I've been looking at, like, when I worked at Microsoft on the Bing search engine, I would look at what was going on there. There are bots and all these other shenanigans that are going on. So even internally, you have to strip out these things to get an estimate. So please think of it as an estimate.
The closest possible way that you could get to it without having the actual numbers from Etsy themselves.
Yeah. So I just want to be very, very transparent. That's just how I am. You know, if you see something that doesn't look right, have a look at the Google graph and see whether there's a correlation there and things like that. But yeah, no, it's a great guide. That's why I'm so excited about launching it. That's why I wanted you to see it.
You act excited. This is the most excited I've ever seen you live. Okay. Let's see. All right. So David asks, hi, Anthony, how far off is a mobile version? of eRank.
Oh, gosh. You know, mobile, I would love to have it out there. The new site is more mobile friendly. I'll let you know that. But the app is a long way. I've got a huge number of people saying, please, 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 you know, create a mobile app. You know, the problem is it's expensive to build. And I don't particularly want to be raising the prices because I think $9.99 is a very palatable sort of price for most sellers out there. So I have to take a bit of time, save up a bit of money, and then I'll look at that. You know, it's definitely on the radar, but I can't say it's going to be this year. It'll have to be next year. So sorry, I can't do it any sooner than that.
That's all right. I just figured that we'd throw it out there. So we do have one question that I know the answer to, but I'm going to go ahead and let you answer this. The long tail keywords eRank shows can be larger than 20 letters. How do we get around that in reference to putting those, for example, in your tags?
Well, first of all, if you think it's a really good word that you want to focus your listing on, put it in your title, number one. And then number two, split it into two. You know, the way Etsy's matching algorithm works, it'll find those words, whether you have it in the first tag or the last tag or somewhere in the middle. So split it into, and then you've got, you know, in your title, you've got it in your tags. Etsy will get the signal. They'll know what it's about.
Right. And you can split, you know, for me, for example, skeleton key necklace is longer than 20 characters. And I divide it out in the most intelligent way. I think about it and I'm like, well, if somebody's searching for skeleton key necklace, I don't want to separate those out as skeleton and then key necklace because it's not a skeleton. So I'll put skeleton key together and then I can put necklace somewhere else. So
yeah,
you just kind of have to divide them out intelligently.
Just on that, I don't know if this is widely known yet, but Etsy just increased the tag size in some of the non-English markets to 30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I had to make a few little changes for the German and other language, other speaking Etsy users, Etsy eRank users. So that'll be an interesting one to watch. I don't know when that would come to English. I guess they've got their reasons for doing it in other markets, first of all. Maybe
well, I can see why, for example, German, a lot of German words are going to traditionally be longer than the English, you know, translation. So it might be trying to adapt to countries that just need more characters for simple words.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool though. That is actually really interesting.
I don't know when it'll happen though. You know, it's
right.
If it does, maybe there are specific market needs, like German language. From what little I know about it, is a very wordy, verbose language, and I think Russian
it is.
as well. Maybe Polish. Don't know. I'm getting way outside my area of expertise, but
right.
I look at it as a very encouraging sign. You know, it would be great to have a few more words in there. Anyway,
right, and you know they could make that widespread for everybody someday.
Yeah, will be good, huh?
All right.
Sorry, I gotta turn my phone to silent. I don't know why it's still.
Oh, that's okay. Everybody's bedinging him.
No way.
Let's see. In eRank, can I search keywords in a different language?
No. I mean, maybe. Primarily, we use US data. Occasionally, other languages will slip into there. So if I would imagine Spanish may be in there because, you know, it's the second most spoken language in the US, if I understand correctly. But for the most part, we focus purely on the US. I have got some actions and work in progress around other languages. So the other languages that Etsy support, like German, French, Spanish, Italian, Polish. I think they're the main ones. I may have forgotten one there. And eRank, we are in the process of making eRank a little bit more international so that people can see the user interface and the content in their native language as well. But that's something for next month.
Awesome. All right. And you know, I actually had someone in Handmade Alpha Academy ask me a very similar question. And I don't know if you've ever done like a side-by-side comparison personally, but she gave me a keyword in English and in Spanish. And I kind of looked at those, and the results for English were completely different than those results in Spanish, because I mean, primarily most shoppers are going to be from English-speaking countries. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. And not to mention, Etsy's going to translate. So,
and if they're not from English-speaking countries, they're going to be searching in English anyway, because the majority of shops are going to be primarily in English.
Yeah, sorry, go.
Let's see. Let's see. Ginger asked a question, and I want to go ahead and address the question just for those who are in the replay. I know that Lori answered it, but she said, just starting out, is this $9.99 in Etsy, or is this a separate app or website? And yes, it is a separate website, and it's actually linked down below. It is eRank like the actual, can you go to eRank.com, or do you have to do EtsyRank.com still?
EtsyRank.com for the moment.
Okay, great. So, and when he does change that, you'll still be able to use EtsyRank, and there will be a redirect, right? Like if you type in EtsyRank, it'll redirect. Okay, great. So that's all linked down below. If you are interested in checking it out, just click see more. Shane asked, I'm opening my shop in 30 days. When do you suggest me subscribing to eRank? And as a user, I'm saying like as soon as possible, because if you're getting your listings prepped, you're going to need to get everything like saved as drafts, do your SEO. Do you still have the draft listing features right now?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So I would subscribe now. Don't pay. You know, I'm not going to suggest people do that until they're really familiar with SEO. I think that's important. So you know, get in there. I think you can create a shop on Etsy. I think you have to put one listing up, but you know, you can deactivate it immediately. That's enough to at least give eRank an account to connect with. And then you can start putting draft listings together. You can use the Keyword Explorer to understand when your products are going to be hot. You can use the tools to understand what's trending, what other tags shops are using, or what tags other shops are using. And yeah, I think it's very valuable. I would love to see more people using the draft listing feature for that. It can help you fine tune the listing before it goes live and avoid a few embarrassing mistakes.
Yeah, and that there's nothing worse than noticing like a week after you've published a listing that there's something dramatically wrong with it, which I've done so many times. But so we do have some more questions, but I thought of something that I want to talk about with the Keyword Explorer. Yep. There are two sets of data that I think are really, really important. And those are obviously your Etsy search trends and the Google search trends. But for the average Etsy seller, let's just say that, for example's sake, you search a keyword and those graphs are just all over the place. Yep. You know what I mean? Yep. How should an Etsy seller leverage the information that they're seeing between what they're seeing through Etsy and what they're seeing through Google? How can they look at this information and, you know, what should they do once they've collected this data in reference to maybe like, you know, prepping in the next 30 days for the holidays, or I would say more like the next 2 weeks.
It really depends. I mean, if we can find a few examples, I can walk you through it. But if you've got graphs that are spiking multiple times throughout the year, you want to try and get your listings uploaded and fine-tuned probably about 30 days before it starts to peak. Or if you see it start to ramp up gradually, you want to try and get it before it starts to ramp up, because that will give you your listing maybe 15 days or 30 days to develop a quality score. And that's a good thing. You know, Etsy will get a bit of a feel for it and they'll start to promote it. You don't want to leave it too late, because then you'll miss the opportunity. While everyone's selling, Etsy is still trying to assess your listing and give you a quality score. So you're a bit behind the game. So yeah, if you see those spikes, try and look at launching your product 30 or 60 days before that, so it really matures and gets a good quality score, so that you can fully capitalize on that peak season. That's what I would do.
Right. Take time to really think strategically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cat's being cute.
He took a picture of the cat. Take time to really think strategically. You can use this to plan ahead. Look at where these spikes are. Get yourself a calendar and write it down on your calendar, you know, expected date for this product to take off, you know, and give yourself a time frame. That way, you know, okay, this is the week that I really need to crunch down and start looking at all of my Valentine's Day products, you know, or, oh, for some reason my sandals are trending in June. Maybe I should start really looking at my sandal listings and making sure that they are all perfect, you know, in early spring, for example. So let's see. Somebody said, could you compare your product with Google Keyword Planner?
You know, you can. I use a couple of tools, like one that I really like is Uber Suggest, and that uses Google keyword data as well. So you can actually go in there and you'll see that the data is extraordinarily similar. So you can definitely use those. It's not meant to be a replacement for the Google Keyword Planner. You know, this is it's like a subset of the data that is in the Google Keyword Planner. I don't know how many hundreds of millions of different search terms they got in there. We've still got millions ourselves, but not anything like the Google Keyword Planner. The goal that the Keyword Explorer has is really around aggregating those commercial search terms that are typed into Etsy and giving you that additional Google data rather than giving you an exhaustive list of Google search terms. So I'd encourage you to experiment, play around with it. I think you'll find that there's good value in what we've got there, but it's not a substitute. I don't want to say, you know, throw that tool away. It's still awesome. Still use it. The Google Keyword Planner is great. And the same as well, if you've seen the beta of Etsy's new search analytics, some of us got early access to that. It's super cool as well. There's a lot of bugs in there still, but it's not going to be a replacement for that either. I look at this as really a tool that complements those. So you can get great ideas from those as well. And then you can go, what are the trends like now? You know, especially with Etsy, because we don't have good insight into, or good visibility on the trends. So you can look at the search analytics on Etsy when that comes out for everyone. And then you can start plugging those into the Keyword Explorer and it'll open your eyes. You'll go, now I understand when it's hot, when it's not, and related terms that I can also use that are very similar to that.
Right. So ultimately, guys, it's not about saying, okay, which one should I use? It's about how can I take the golden nuggets from this tool and this tool and this tool and make them all work together and put them into this big picture. How can I see this as one big picture rather than just focusing in on one? Because ultimately you can use all of these tools together. Sorry, the cat is like freaking out over here. A lot of people are, man, we have so many awesome comments. Everybody is so excited about the new tool. Lou Richard asked, can eRank be used to find a niche?
Absolutely. You know, this is the power of it, right? You can go into the Keyword Explorer and you can type in jewelry or ring or wreath or cushion or enamel pin.
A one-word general term. One
or two words are even, I would say that they're the best, because you can start that very high-level category and you can go, is my category popular? Because that's a key thing, right? You want to know that there's demand there. You can do that and you can go, there is potential here. Then you can go and explore and you can find all these little subcategories and niches from there. So that's exactly what it's built for, is to help you discover your specialty.
And that's great for those who don't have shops yet, because if you're not if you don't already have a product and you're not quite sure what, or even if you have a collection coming out and you're not quite sure what you want to make for an upcoming collection, you could sit and start analyzing this data and say, okay, you know, I just searched silver necklace, but this one particular type of silver necklace seems to sell really well. It's trending. It does really well around the holidays. Maybe this is something that I should plan to start making. So there are so many possibilities with that. Melissa Homespun Honeybee asks, does it harm our overall shop score to leave seasonal items up year round?
No need to yell, Melissa.
she put it all in caps.
Oh gosh, I don't think so. You know, I think the things that really harm your shop are negative reviews, intellectual property, infringements, things like that. I've not heard of anything from Etsy that says, you know, shame on you for leaving that listing up. That was really bad, actually, I think. No, as long as you have good reviews, you don't break any laws or IP issues, or have any cases open up against you, I think you're fine.
Yeah, and some people might want to shop for Christmas decorations in July. You never know. So
sometimes shop 6 months in advance.
Right, exactly. Maybe we want to prep normally we're not going to get penalized for that, right? Oh, Ginger asks, Starla, is your calendar still available? I remember you giving it out on a video I was watching. That calendar is only through until December. So if you need the next 2 months, feel free to email me at starla@handmadealphaacademy.com and I can give you the next 2 months printouts. However, it's kind of starting to get to like the end of its lifespan, but you can expect more calendars for 2019.
And D Kitsero expanded on the question about the Google Keyword Planner and said, thanks, but I was referring to the estimated impressions numbers.
Estimated impressions?
Could you compare your product with Google Keyword Planner and said I was referring to the estimated impressions number?
Oh, okay, no, they're different numbers. So the impression is the number of times an ad would be seen. There is a loose correlation between impressions and searches. So, you know, when impressions is going up, searches should be going up in parallel, but they are different numbers.
All right. Let's see. Melissa said the new search analytics are awful so far from Etsy, I assume. Yeah. The ones that they're testing.
Yeah, you know, the promise is great. The data is, when I last looked at it, which was about 7 days ago, the data was very patchy. So I think they've got a lot of feedback from people now, and you know, I think something really good will come out of this. I think that we just got to give them a little bit of time now.
Yeah, and it takes time for new tools to really, I mean, that's why they haven't just given it to everybody yet.
Yep.
They're still testing it. They've got a lot of changes. I mean, Anthony, how long have we been talking about the foundation, you know, the idea of this keyword explorer? Like it's been
since the beginning of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a process. This isn't just a last minute. I mean, the launch of it was kind of a last minute decision,
yep.
But it had been in the works for a while. I just didn't say anything because I wanted to keep you guys all ready to be excited. All right. G Morgan asks, and I assume this one's more directed towards me. Yeah. What can you do about a glowing review and the customer only gives you 4 stars? I would recommend just messaging that customer and saying, thanks. Hey, thanks for the review. I'm glad that you liked, and then maybe mention something that they said in the review, like, oh, I'm so happy that you liked the quality of the product. I noticed that you only left 4 stars. I'm constantly working to make sure that all of my customers are 100% satisfied. What could I do in the future to ensure a 5-star review? And, you know, her finger could have slipped when she was leaving the review and she might have only left 4 stars by accident, or she might.
And there are also those people out there who, if the product doesn't absolutely change their life, you're not going to get a 5-star review. They're the kind of people who would pay someone to wipe their butt if they had them enough money to pay somebody to do it.
Right.
Those kind of people.
You know, the teachers that say that I'll never give an A because nobody's perfect.
Yeah,
you know?
They're those people. Just,
I had an interesting email dialogue with Etsy on this topic back when I was creating the ratings and review feature on eRank. And they acknowledge that some people, you know, that's just what they do, you know.
Yeah.
A 4 and a 5-star, as far as Etsy are concerned, is positive feedback. That's what you need to worry about. You know, it's positive. Don't sweat it. If you get the occasional 4-star, don't sweat it. You know, it's still seen as positive. You're not going to get harmed. So, you know, I wouldn't panic about it. Definitely get in there. I like your approach. You know, get in there and say, what can I do to make it better for you? But don't panic at the end of the day with a 4-star.
Yeah, definitely. And even 3 stars are just neutral, right? They're not even, they don't really count badly against you. They just, it's kind of just.
You don't want to get too many 3s. 4s, I wouldn't worry about it in the least. But it's the 1s and 2s that you need to really worry about.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of how rating systems are supposed to work.
Right. 3 is, you know, 3 is like, oh, it's all right.
It's all right. It's not good. It's not bad. It's okay.
Let's see. Debbie here. Best Friday ever. 2 most inspirational gurus together again. Listening while I saw. Thanks for all of the awesome.
You mean so?
Or while I saw.
Words are hard.
We're tired today, apparently.
I'm definitely tired.
We're also babysitting a lizard and the cat's trying to eat it. If you see him in the background, that's what he's doing. Somebody said the 4-star people are also the type that will take a star away if you go fishing for 5. That's why you shouldn't like message them and say, what can I do to get you to change your review? Just say, you know, what can I, you know, I'm always looking to improve. What could I do to ensure that, you know, I get 5-star next time?
Yeah. That's a good approach.
All right. Guys, I'm not seeing a whole lot of questions. So if you have any of those, go ahead and put those down below. Real quick.
The rating system should change to yes or no.
Yeah,
I'm all about that.
Change the rating system. Yes or no, good or bad. I don't know. I like having neutral too. I think that that's a good option. So Annie, let's talk about the cost per click feature that is in the Keyword Explorer, because I know that's one that not a lot of people, you know, even when I looked at it, you had to explain it to me. Like you schooled me on it because I saw it and I'm like, you know what, that's interesting, but how do I use this? How do I apply this cost per click data to me?
Yeah,
so
it's a very interesting metric to watch. If you follow Neil Patel, who is like the SEO guru or the search guru that I look up to, and you know he's like the super smart.
I love Neil Patel.
Incredibly young, brilliant, you know, guy, and he acquired Ubersuggest recently, and if you look in there, you'll see CPC and competition from Google AdWords. Now, these numbers are really important when you look at them together. So competition gives you an idea of how many people are paying to advertise on Google so that they can appear on page 1 for that search term. 0 means there's no competition at all. 1 is the highest value, so it's like maybe 10 advertisers or whatever, and then there's numbers in between. So if you see something that's close to 1, maybe 0.9 or 1, that tells me that a lot of people are prepared to pay to appear on page 1 on Google for that search term. Now, if you go and look at CPC, that tells you how much they're prepared to pay. And this really tells me how much they value that search term. So if you're prepared to pay 20 cents, it's like, yeah, whatever. But if you're prepared to pay $1 or more just for a click, what that tells me is those advertisers, they've figured something out. They know that there's value, there's some return on investment for this keyword, and they're prepared to back that confidence by paying a high CPC. So if you see terms in there that have got high competition around 1 and a CPC of $1 or more, anything that you think is, oh, that's a lot of money to spend on a click, these guys are onto something. Occasionally you'll see some exceptions. Maybe someone's prepared to pay $1, but there's no competition. That could be a trademark term. Sometimes you'll see a lot of competition, but not a very high price. That could be something that's off season. But combined, when you look at competition and CPC, you get a sense of commercial intent. And that really tells me there's some potential here for this keyword. This phrase is appealing. Sellers and advertisers want it. They want to be on page 1 for good reason. So if you see that in there, think of that as a good sign. If you're looking at what keywords to put on your website, this is a great signal for you. You know, this is a good high commercial intent keyword. If you're looking at it going, yeah, I'm not sure between these 2 long tail keywords on Etsy, and you're trying to decide between the 2 of them, go over there and have a look as well and go, I think this one might have higher commercial intent. I would pick the one that has the higher CPC and the high level of competition. So it's a very interesting way of looking at it. It's a very interesting technique that a lot of people that do SEO and search engine marketing, they look at these numbers to try and determine what are the most valuable words. So that's how I would use it.
It's like an advanced tactic, guys, that your competitors probably don't even know what to look at. Even I was confused by it, but I like to think of it like this. Imagine that you go to a horse race and they've got those big, you know, virtual, I've never been to a horse race, but they've got those big like TV screens up and you can see how much everybody's betting on, you know, specific horses. And you notice that almost everybody is betting on a specific horse. Isn't that in your mind going to make you say, maybe I should be betting on that horse because everybody, maybe they know something I don't know. Maybe I should be betting on that horse. So that's kind of like how I see it.
That's a fantastic analogy. So I think you're bang on there. You know, it's like the form guide, I guess. Do you call it form guide in the US? No?
Awesome.
No. Okay. Must be an Australian term.
Nope. No idea.
Okay.
Well, Anthony,
I stayed up all night. I totally missed it. What was that?
He said, what was it?
In the horse racing terminology, are you familiar with form guide?
Form guide?
No.
No.
That, can you edit that part out?
Maybe in Kentucky, since there's a lot more horse racing taking place in Kentucky.
Yeah, okay. Maybe someone from Kentucky can educate us then.
Let's see. Third Day Soaps Garden Holistic Skincare and Body Care. The cat is tearing something up. We're sorry for all the noises. I'm new to eRank. Where should I begin? I signed my shop up, but it's overwhelming for me. Thank you. So what if you were a brand new shop, Anthony, and you just started? What would be like the first place that you would recommend going?
I would go into the grades page, and there I would look at things like or the shop listings page. I would look for things like listings that have got really low average daily views, especially if they're not niche. I mean, if they're popular items or should be popular items and they're only getting 1 view a week, to me, that's a sign that it needs some work on it. So I would start in there, have a look at what listings have got the lowest views per week or per day, and then start to see what can be done to improve those. So when you look at those pages, you'll see a whole load of orange listing audit buttons. If you click on that, you'll get a bunch of suggestions that we think are worthwhile considering to improve your shop listing and its performance and its conversion rates and things like that. They're suggestions. You don't have to go and do everything. If you look at something and you go, no, that doesn't make sense, that's fine. You can leave that alone. But it's a whole bunch of suggestions on how to improve your listings. And I would take a bottom-up approach. I would start with those listings that have got the least number of sales or the least number of views, and slowly work your way up. I want to emphasize slowly. You know, don't go and change everything overnight. Don't put an all-nighter in to fix everything up, because you really want to start with those ones that aren't doing well. Give it a few weeks, because guess what? You're learning SEO. These are just suggestions. You want to apply those changes to a small number of listings. Give it a couple of weeks to see what happens, and then work your way up. You definitely don't want to change your best sellers, because what if you do something wrong? What if you accidentally take out a good keyword? Guess what happens to your sales? If Etsy can't match to that good keyword anymore, your sales go down. So, be very careful. You're new to it. Start from the bottom. Work on those listings that need the most care and nurturing, and then slowly work your way up to those ones that you feel, once you're confident enough, start working on those ones that sell. But right at the end, don't change something. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And what a lot of people, I think, forget to acknowledge is that it can take up to 60 days for your new keywords to even go like into full effect. And people who go in and change them every single day, and then they wait, nothing happens. And then, okay, well, next week, I'm just going to change them all again. You are not giving it enough time to set in. You have to be patient and wait and watch.
So true. Etsy, in their new Ultimate Guide to Search, explain the process. They talk about how they need to assess a listing for its relevancy and how people are engaging with that listing. That assessment process can take several weeks. So if you keep changing those words, guess what? It's back to neutral quality score. You're back at day one again, and Etsy start assessing it again and so forth. So, make some changes, be strategic, be confident in your changes, and give it a few weeks at least to see what Etsy think about those changes and how users have started to interact with it.
Awesome. And Debbie said that for those who, have more questions, that I'm sure that you guys will inevitably have more questions later, or for those who watch the replay, be sure to join the EtsyRank group on Facebook. All you have to do is go to Facebook. You guys should do it right now. Give Debbie something to do. Does Debbie approve Facebook members?
She does, yeah. Keep it busy.
Oh, give her something to do. Everybody, all at once, who isn't a member, go to Facebook right now. Open it in another tab. Everybody doing it? Facebook? Okay. And then in the search bar, type in EtsyRank, one word, all together, EtsyRank group, and click join. Everybody do it all at once. Debbie, get ready. They're all coming. Okay. All right. So let's see. This has probably been said, but I want to register for eRank. Would it be better to do it via Etsy?
No, you have to.
Maybe she means click from Etsy integrations.
Oh, right. It makes no difference. But yeah, if you see it in the integrations, click on it. It'll take you through to eRank. Register on there. You have to register with a different account because we are two unrelated companies. So do that. Once you've registered, you'll get an email just to confirm your account, and then you're ready to go. You can connect your shop, or if you've got 20 shops, you can connect 20 shops into eRank. And away you go. Yeah.
And it's also linked down below, guys. There's like something that says see more, and you click it and it'll expand. And I have all the links like right below this video, along with the links to our last interview with Anthony and the link to the video that I published Monday with the walkthrough. Let's see. Did we have, okay, we do have a couple more questions, and then let's go ahead and maybe take a look at it. And I'll let you, you want to do a screen share and show it off for those who, for those who don't have pro memberships and they want to see it like before they commit. All right. Yeah, we've got about 15 minutes because our kiddo gets off the bus early. My Kind of Wonderful asks, would you use the same tags for your listings as you do typed in your listing title and descriptions? I think we talked about this during our last Q&A, but if you want to give her like a lightning fast answer.
Yeah, this is something that Etsy didn't really disclose in the new guide. So I asked them, what should we do? The old guidance was, you know, some repetition. The new guidance is much the same. If you repeat those keywords in your title and in your tags, they will improve relevancy for that, and that will boost your ranking very slightly for people that search with those same keywords. But they did add a caveat in there that it only helps to an extent. So I read that and I go, okay, I'm not going to copy 13 tags and somehow get them into the title. I'm going to pick maybe two or three. And I look at it this way. I've worked with search engineers before, and they've looked at web pages or listings and they've gone, I've got 100 words here duplicated in the title and the description, or, you know, in the title and the tags, depending on which search engine. And they go, which one's important? Every single one is duplicated. You have to think about the search engine. They have to confidently know what are the most important keywords. So you don't want to have everything duplicated. You just want to pick the best ones and duplicate those. That gives the search engine much more confidence around understanding what your listing is. So do that. Repeat a couple, but don't, you know, try and duplicate all 13 tags somewhere in your title or vice versa.
Awesome. And Evie, I'm actually not going to answer that question because we spent so much time on it in our last Q&A, what, like 3 weeks ago? I think so. Can you take him upstairs, please? Before he gets,
he thinks there's a hole under the light.
But we spent so much time on that, on the questions about keeping titles shorter or longer. We talked about it for a really long time. So go watch that video because there is just as much valuable information in that one as as there is today. I just don't want to have to, repeat all that because it's kind of a time-consuming topic. Richard asks, how many shops can we have, Starla? Richard, you can technically have as many shops as you want. Bye, Bobbers. Richard, you can technically have as many shops as you want, but I always tell my alphas to look at it like this. If you know that you need to build 2 houses, you have to build 2 of them. Would it not be smarter to build one and get the roof on it so you have a place to sleep that's dry rather than try to build them both at the same time and, it take twice as long? So get one shop done. Make sure you're happy with it. Make sure that it's selling. Put your focus and energy into that one shop until you already know, okay, this is doing well. And then start the other one, because 2 shops do not mean double the sales. Running a shop takes 100% time, energy, commitment, marketing, studying, focusing, looking at analytics, and to double that, it takes so much energy. So make sure that you have like your ride or die shop done, and then start thinking about working on another one if you choose to.
Get some employees. Let's
see. Linda asked, is there any other information on the site that explains how to read and interpret the graphs? Yes. There's so much information on eRank. There's little bubbles that you can hover over. In fact, let's go ahead. let's go ahead, since we've only got about 15 minutes, let's let Anthony screen share and he can actually show you that real quick. And then if you guys have questions in the meantime, I'll try to get to a couple as he's doing this walkthrough for you. Yep. But if we don't get to your questions, join the EtsyRank group on Facebook and, you know, save them for there. Okay.
All right.
Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
All right. All right.
Mark, do you want to
I'll let you
set up the screen share again?
It'll be the little green screen, and I won't switch to you until we're sure that you have it up. You guys get to look at my face the whole time until let's see. While we're waiting, question on long tail keywords and redundant tags. If I write flamingo or tote bag have very high engagement, would flamingo tote bag has low engagement? Yeah, because flamingo tote bag is more niched down. A lot of people might be searching flamingo. A lot of people might be searching tote bag, but those keywords are going to be so hard. Oh, is it worth niching down or better to get more people to see it? More people isn't necessarily better, because just because someone searches flamingo, they might not be looking for a flamingo tote bag. They might be looking for, lawn flamingos. It's better to be more accurate, because you're still going to be looked at for those keywords. You know,
that's all right. And if I heard right, you're talking about the difference between flamingo, tote bag, and tote bag. Well, guess what? That engagement for tote bag, that will apply because you've got tote bag in that other tag as well. So, you know, it's not like you've discarded all that goodness. That's there plus more. So don't be discouraged if the longer term has lower engagement or lower searches. That's okay. If you break it down, those other phrases, you're going to benefit from that as well. So it's a win-win situation there.
Awesome. Yep. Were you able to figure the screenshot or the screen sharing out? Because I was going to, okay. Oh, there we are. Awesome.
So I'm going to switch over. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Fantastic. Okay.
All right, we've got about 10 minutes. So,
right. So I'll race through. I'll probably just pick a couple of examples and
well, show us where it is so they know where to find it.
Okay, so the quickest, easiest way is up here in the shortcut links here. If you can see where my mouse is, Keyword Explorer. You click on that, boom, it comes up. It's also the first option under the tools menu as well. It's got a little new right next to it as well. Okay, so you can go in there, you can look through. The landing page has a bit more detail about the different features within the tool. There's also a Learn More link, which you can go in there. There's a blog post that I created there, which talks about a lot of the background that goes into the tool. So it talks about, you know, what the gauges are to help you understand how to read them. It shows you the graphs. It even talks a little bit about the background, about the third-party research that we did to find the right provider and what it is and what it is not. So go in there, have a read of that, because it's good background information for you as well. But I'll dive in and give you a couple of good examples. So there's one that I particularly like, and it's Halloween wreath. So let's bring that up. Takes a few seconds.
It's good data. It takes a minute to retrieve.
Yep, but it's a lot faster than the old keyword tool, which I'm very happy about. Okay, so here's what.
Wow.
So we've got Halloween wreath, and we can see straight away what's this searches here. So this is the estimated average number of searches over the last 12 months for Halloween wreath. Now, we can look at that and go, well, that's not really every single month, but it's a straight, simple average formula. But if you look down at the graph here, you can start to see what it's like every month. And guess what? We can look here and we can see, like in August, it was 21,000 searches on Etsy. And then boom, look at this, last month, 67,000 searches on Etsy. That's huge, right? It's going to drop off, obviously, because, you know, in the next few days, it's just not going to be popular anymore because Halloween's here. But you get an idea of when is the right time to start planning and whatnot. And I would say, if you can see where my mouse is right here, this is in June. This is where I would be taking photographs. I'll be arranging supplies and whatever else you want, and aim to launch that listing somewhere either at the end of June or in early July, because this is uplift. This is people already getting excited about buying those items. So you want to maximize that opportunity. You can get good sales in here, you can get good sales in here, and you can get good sales in here as well. So if you see a graph like this, you go, right, have a bit of a work back schedule. Go right back to where it begins and say, that's when I want to list my items.
Awesome. And it's like getting ready. You're getting ready.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way as well, right? So many people are last minute including sellers. So if you're into October and you're going, oh, I've got to list my Halloween wreaths now, guess what? You've missed out on all this opportunity. If you were the smart one that listed early, you've got the quality score, you've probably got a few sales and positive reviews, you're going to be ranking better than all those other people. They're going to miss out because they were too late to move. So get in there early and you know, start to use this tool to plan in advance. Now, the other thing that you can do here as well is if the lines are a bit too hard and confusing to read, you can turn, say, Google off and you can just see the Etsy line, or you can go the other way around. If you're focusing on your website, you can just say, oh, okay, I'm going to park Etsy for now. I'm just going to look at the Google trend. We've got 12 months of Google historical information here and 15 months of historical data for Etsy in there. The next thing as well is this little long tail graph, the indicator. It tells you where this keyword sits in the long tail graph. Now it's up in the head section. So at the moment it is a hot term, right? 10,000 searches a month. But if you look right here, it's more like 67,000 or 50 to 60,000 this time of year. So it's hot, it's in the head. Doesn't mean you should shy away from it. What that tells me is that there is good demand for this product. So this is very encouraging for me. You know, I don't get turned off by anything in the long tail graph. It just helps me understand what the market demand is and it can sort of set expectations. So if I'm looking for something broad like this, I can go, okay, there's good interest and there's good interest right now. So now what I can do is I can start to look down the page and go, what other variations are there? So obviously there's the plural, Halloween wreaths for front door. So that's a good long tail keyword and we'll mark it as such in here. Now, a little bit about long tail keywords. There is no absolute scientific formula that says a long tail keyword must have so many searches per month. It's a little bit more art than science. So I've got values in here. You'll see yes, no, and occasionally you'll see maybe. So just keep that in mind. Long tail keywords, you want to try and include them in there. We give you an indicator that gives you that yes, no, maybe, just so you can, you know, figure out which ones are going to be best for you. In here as well, along with all these related searches, we include the estimated number of searches on Etsy, the competition level you can find on Etsy, the engagement levels, the trend graph, like a little miniature trend graph in here, so you can figure out what time of year it's peaking at. You can hover over them. You've got to be a little bit precise in here, but you can see in September there's a bit of a bump as well. That makes sense. But then you've got the other information as well. So the Google searches, the competition that we were talking about, and the CPC as well. So you can actually go in here and you can start to sort by CPC and figure out which ones have got the best commercial intent. And I find this a really fascinating exercise because you can start to get some really niche and interesting ideas in here. You can see black Halloween wreath, fall Halloween wreaths, small Halloween wreaths. You can get some really good ideas. You know, they're not going to be huge numbers of searches in there, but guess what? There's probably next to no competition in there as well. It'll be like shooting fish in a barrel. These are really good ideas to include in there. I sometimes like to look for things that have got a little bit more search volume. Wreaths, Halloween's an interesting variation. Scary Halloween decorations. We're starting to branch out. It's looking at Halloween and giving you other Halloween themed things rather than wreaths, but that will give you other word ideas. If you want to filter out some of the noise and just focus on wreaths, you can do this. And it'll make sure that it only returns keywords that contain that word. And so you can then really slice and dice it in other ways as well, so you can find interesting ideas here. So you can see I'm just sorting in here. And the other thing as well is a lot of people like to work offline. So in that case, you can download the Excel or the CSV file. And I think this is super cool that you can go and do that. You can, you know, work on it until the middle of the night if you so desire. So these are the sort of things that you can find in the Keyword Explorer. If you shall I try another example, Starla? Has anyone asked for?
Yeah, somebody actually specifically requested that you search for Christmas wreath to see the difference between like where where Christmas time products are going to spike.
Yep.
And since we've only got 4 minutes, I want to go ahead and touch on just a couple questions after we look at this.
Yep. Okay. And if I've got a minute left, I might make a bit of a reveal about a new feature as well.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So here's Christmas wreath. No surprises here. You can see in Google, it's really picking up pretty early on, surprisingly. You know, so you're looking at August where they're starting to, you know, be a bit of a sign of life here. But obviously, you know, November is the big time for Christmas wreaths. Obviously, people want this in advance. December's pretty good as well, but my guess here is that majority of those searches are for the first 2 weeks in Christmas. After that, you get close to the USPS cutoff times. Searches and demand just dry up very, very quickly. So you really want to make sure you've got your listings ready well before the second week in December, for sure. That's,
right, the dry spell.
Yeah, that's it. It just dries up very quickly then. Yep. Yeah. Shall I sneak in this other little new feature that no one else knows about yet?
Yes, let me give Wendy Work Art a shout out because she's super excited. She says that she is going to go get the paid membership right after we're done here. And Wendy,
awesome. Thank you,
what
Wendy.
Anthony's going to reveal is going to really get you excited to go and do that. So Anthony, show us what you're working on. Guys, you are the first to hear about this. Literally the first, other than me.
Yep.
No, and I only knew about it a minute before we went live. So are you ready? Everybody give this video a thumbs up if you're ready.
It's already on the screen. So,
all right.
Here we go. So what this is a new trending on Etsy report. So this is about what's hot now, what was hot this time last year, and what the movers and shakers are. So let me quickly run you through this. So here we have the top 10 Etsy search terms. Now this is estimated, but I'm pretty damn sure this is spot on here. What was hot last month, right? Halloween, jewelry, gift, Halloween decor. You can see the theme going on here, right? Halloween, fall, slime. Slime is still there. You know, that stuff that, the gooey. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, my kid is obsessed with it.
So, you know, it's there. It's there. That's what was hot last month. There's a very good chance that a lot of this stuff will go on for a month or two. We're looking at this a little bit late in the month, so the Halloween probably will drop off very quickly now, but fall will still remain around a little bit longer. What I want to now draw your attention to are the movers and shakers. And this to me is really interesting stuff, because this is the stuff, these are the terms that have jumped up the most between August and September. So obviously the Halloween and the fall that I talked about, but have a look here as well. We've got peridot, we've got weddings, we've got dorm decor, we've got dorm wall hangings, bridal shower gifts. What does that tell me? It tells me that, you know, peridot, well, that was the August birthstone. Obviously that's dropped off now. So if you had a sudden burst, that's probably it for the year. You're gonna have to come back next year for that one. Weddings are coming off the hot season. Obviously it's a bit cooler now. People still get married all year round, but you're not going to have wedding items sell as hot as they were during summer. And the dorm stuff, well, my guess is that's back to school related. So I guess people have finished decorating their dorms and whatever they do when they go back to school. So that's it there. Each month I'm going to be updating this. I'll make sure that the top 10 search terms are always there. I'm going to go through and manually pick out some really interesting movers and shakers for people. But then where I get really excited is looking at what's below here. This is what happened last year around this time. Now, this is very interesting because this is what history can tell you, and you can learn from that. So last year, slime was really hot, but guess what? It's trending down. It's probably still going to be okay for another year or so, but it's not going to be as hot as it was last year.
So this isn't the time to start a slime shop.
No, well, you might get a little bit more love out of it, but I wouldn't be super excited about that. Vintage this time last year was doing really well. November, so this is like next month from last year. This is where you should be aiming right now. Personalized gifts, you know, hey, this is Etsy, right? Ugly Christmas sweaters, of course, makes sense, right? Personalized Christmas stockings, you can read it. You know, you can also see blankets start to become popular at this time of the year. It gets a bit chilly, right? So that's it. And then if you're looking into December, you can see things that were, you know, like Star Wars was released last year. You can see people already thinking about the new year, planner stickers. So it gives you an idea there. So get in there, have a look at it. I'm going to be updating this every month with anything that I think that is of interest to people. And, you know, you can also look at things like this and go, click on it, and you get into the Keyword Explorer, and you can explore to your heart's content. So that's what I wanted to show you. That's the...
Awesome. And, you know, everybody's asking when, because people are like, oh, I'm going to go do this right now. It's not live yet. So when will this be live?
Oh, it's live right now. Go in there.
Oh, it is? Oh, I thought I didn't think it was
This is
live yet.
exclusive. This is the big scoop, Starla.
Oh, I didn't know that it was live. I thought that it was like you were unveiling it like tonight, guys.
No,
Go.
right now. You guys are the first to see it.
And
So
is this a
go there.
pro feature?
It's a pro feature.
Awesome.
So if you're a pro subscriber already, bonus, you just got this.
For free. It's just added. It's just part of your normal subscription. He doesn't charge more when he adds stuff. He just charges, you know, the same price for all of this, which is awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and ask one more question, and then we need to hop off of here. Ginger asked, is this solely Etsy or Google and Etsy for these, you know, trend alerts?
So this is Etsy alone.
Awesome. And that's so perfect, guys.
It's Etsy.
Everyone's saying sold. I'm sold. I'm signing up. We've had like 10 people say that they're signing up. And guys, just as a disclaimer, I do this every time that we have Anthony on. I am not a paid affiliate of EtsyRank. Anthony does not pay me. In fact, I pay Anthony.
Yep. Thank you.
When we have occasionally, I do bonuses for Handmade Alpha Academy students who sign up for HAA with the full $9.97 enrollments. They actually get EtsyRank as a bonus, and he doesn't give me a discount for that either.
Nope.
Because I want him to take all of the money, because I want him to keep doing awesome stuff like this for you guys, not just Handmade Alpha Academy students, but for all Etsy sellers who have $10 to spare each month, which is so freaking worth it. Anthony, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. It was a blast. You're going to have to let me know how many people end up signing up, because so many people. It's so exciting.
Well, thanks for having me again, Starla.
Of course.
All right.
And guys, if you have any additional questions, as I mentioned before, make sure that you just type in EtsyRank, one word, EtsyRank group on Facebook. Even if you're watching the replay right now, don't leave your questions in the comments here, because Anthony's got his own, you know, group to manage. Go post your questions over there, and either him or Debbie will get back with you. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Anthony, stay on the line for just 1 second while we end the Q&A. And guys, have an awesome week. Make sure that you check out the link below if you guys are interested in meeting us on October 28th in Columbus, Ohio.
Or if you want to come see my first show at the 11th, or on the 11th
of November
in Dayton. We have about 15 tickets left. They're going quick.
If you guys want to watch his show, he'll be playing
Selfless promotion.
He'll be playing with Tantric
and Wayland.
Tantric, like the 90s band Tantric. They'll be playing live in Dayton. Feel free to email us at Starla@Handmade Alpha Academy if you want another opportunity to hang out with us in person. All right, guys. See you next week. Bye.
See you guys.
See ya.